The Board of Assessors meeting is now open, and it's 4:34 for January 7th. All members are in attendance. The first order of business is to have it open for the guests tonight, Cal O'Brien and Frank Lyman.
Okay.
Can we
Carol?
go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've already spoken to you anyway. I filed the old yesterday on the yard items that increase. And as I explained before, they go down like every 3 to 4 years, like 200 or whatever. And this year it went up 1,000. Doesn't make sense.
Mine also went up. I noticed mine was always very low. It was 700 forever. Then it went to 800, and then it went to 1,000. I also filed an abatement. Also, the vendor, you were there in fiscal year 19? You were on the board, right? So I filed a real estate abatement back in 2019 for my house, the type of house. They had it as a colonial. My house isn't a colonial. It was a ranch. And I added half up on the second floor. So I said it should be more conventional. And it was approved and agreed by the board, and they changed it to a conventional. Well, the company changed my house to a split entry. It could never be a split entry because it was a ranch.
I remember, yeah.
Yes, so but now they have me listed as a split entry. And it could never be a split entry. And that was the vendor that changed it. They, the values come in for the assessments based off the sales data from the Registry of Deeds, so that's what drives.
Yep.
And then you get your core medium, which is the 90 to 110%, which is whatever. But they're the ones who pull this stuff. So
Yeah, but on yard items like sheds and then they decrease.
generally,
Unless you take out a permit to do, renovations to a garage or anything, they don't improve.
generally.
Right.
So I also filed for one of my shed,
Right.
which is 25 years old and literally falling apart.
Right, yeah.
So that happened to me too, and I did it for the style of my house, which was changed. It shouldn't have been because I already did that back in fiscal 19. But like I said, I don't know why they changed it. You look at my house, and there's no way it could be a split entry. Like,
Did they
it's
go out
just
and look at it again?
no, no.
Then how did it get changed?
The vendor changed it.
The vendor
The
changed.
vendor changed it.
The evaluation vendor. Catalyst used to be Patriot.
They're
Yes.
huge now. They're
Catalyst is huge to the point that it's huge that Patriot was bought out by Catalyst, and Catalyst is huge. When Patriot is smaller, there's more attention given to the clients.
the
You know,
details.
Catalyst is so big
Yeah.
that they just don't give it the attention that's needed, and they were coming across problems that existed. When he discovered quite a few problems, and that they didn't, and she's made them go back and change things. She's had to do more review work, which she shouldn't be having to do if we had a good vendor. And this has been not just initially the first time around. Like I said,
Ugh.
When
you
did
had
they go to this other company?
Huh?
When did this transfer?
last
December 2022.
22.
Yeah, just over the last.
They have
So
some of the
who's
same
there at
people
the
still there,
time?
but we're under contract with them.
Who was in the office at the time? Was it?
It was,
It wasn't.
When? No, Wendy
It was
wasn't here
Kathy.
yet. It was Kathy, and so, probably.
So were there mistakes at that time?
Possibly. We found a lot of mistakes, costing, a plus and minus. Okay, sometimes they
We don't know.
they didn't include a garage under, or they considered the garage under as finished area, so the entire basement was finished, which we shouldn't be. And other cases, they didn't give the proper depreciation codes. So that's what Winnie's been working on, is just she's had to review a lot of stuff from Catalyst, which we shouldn't have to do
How did the upgrades on the yard items get put in?
by them.
Catalyst.
They do the data entry?
What?
I know that's
Yes.
The vendors.
The vendors
The
do.
vendor does the data entry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't do
Always
it.
have.
And I worked, in an assessor's office for 7 years, and we had a different vendor. But yes, everything is given to the vendor, and they do everything.
That's right.
But after they do them, we used to review everything.
You should, absolutely.
So if
Yes,
there was
which is-
mistakes, we found it at the time.
Right.
And sometimes we don't know until a taxpayer comes in and says, we need an abatement. And then if we see a few of the same type of thing,
Same pattern.
same pattern, then Wendy goes in and says, okay, what did they do here? But without a flag, otherwise she would be doing their whole job for every single thing
But
over again.
I would think a change in the description of the house, the classification of the house,
Right.
should really jump out as something unusual.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone
Yeah,
looking at it, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If they did that,
Yeah.
if they do the homework.
I mean, well,
This has happened 3 times.
in
They don't.
your software should be able to tell you
Yeah.
the changes, and one of the things that would really jump out at me is if a colonial became
Arrange.
a bi-level,
Yeah.
or a ranch became a split entry, or a front to back. Whoa, time out. How
Right. Yeah.
did the structure
Yeah.
change?
Change like
There's
that.
only 2 ways that happens. Either they screwed up or somebody did it without a permit.
Right.
Yeah.
They screwed up.
No, they screwed up. I
So
mean,
that-
and
that-
plus they don't have the staff that they had before. Keep in
That's
mind
the
that they're
other
bigger.
thing. And
They're bigger, and as there's more clients, and and we've discovered it's not just Whitman that towns are having problems with the catalyst. The other towns have the same problems.
I think vision is the same issue. They
Well,
get so
It's not,
It's
if you get
funny.
big, you don't care.
When I hear Carol's comments, we've not talked. I haven't seen
No,
Carol
I just met her in the hall.
since
Yeah.
the November election. But when I got my tax bill, I looked at it. I said, how the hell did my shed go up 32%?
Right.
we
And
have
then I
an issue
looked
now.
at it, and it went up 38% last
Yeah.
year. Let me tell you, it's
Yeah,
not an
last year,
appreciating asset.
No, we know.
And then I went online to look, and I found out that none of the updated values are online.
No, I
Yeah,
found that out too.
I have a ticket in with, I have to do it with, through Catalyst. And the company is
Even
WebPro,
though-
so it's a third party, but you have to go through Catalyst.
So as a result, what I did is I made a public records request for the assessor database,
Right, right.
Yeah.
which is a public record.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
frustrating.
And I used to do it periodically, every couple of years
Yeah,
when you were there,
sure.
Carol. And if you need help in how to do the extract, I'd be happy to guide you. But
Sure.
I want to do a review and comparison,
Right.
and to do that, I need the data.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
the more eyes, the better.
So,
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to do an overval, but I
Do it.
want to be sure I know what I'm looking at before I do it.
Right,
Part of it will
right.
be analyzing all that data.
yeah. Oh, Wendy's going to be driving around looking at all the outbuildings to see what the heck it's
No, it's just the overall, the overall situation there now is
What about
different.
the people that don't realize this? What's going to happen with them?
Well, I'm
How
looking
do you-
at the history of the.
It's up to them, we can address it here.
as we get them.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
You're-
one of the issues is WebPro, the current online system that we have is not the full property record card that you would get in the office that we provide to the public. And in fact, sheds are not, you can't even source that.
Yeah, no.
So that's what my request is.
That's
want
why I
a
want the
PDF.
database.
Because
You'll get it.
you'll get it.
But my request is to link the PDFs of all the record cards.
They should
to the
be able
search.
to map that.
They should automatically.
They're any reasonably capable technology / service provider should be able to map your data and present it in a printable fashion. It can be a PDF, doesn't have to be. It can just be the data that you download when you connect, although typically it comes out in a PDF format.
Anybody who
Right.
has what Whitman has, you get the same thing as Whitman. Like
Yeah.
if you go into another town
Yeah.
that utilizes that online mapping, like to go in to get a record card, you're going to see exactly what you go onto Whitman to get like your own property.
Yeah.
It's vague. It's evasive. They don't. We had PK, and I absolutely loved it. Where I was.
Well, I
you know.
would think that the system we were using, which provided an actual record card, cut tons of inquiries down from your office, from
So it was.
assessors and other.
So it was a different link online.
Yeah.
It was not WebPro. It was
Right.
a different one. Okay.
It was SoftWrite, wasn't it?
ShopRite?
Well,
It's always
Software
been-
had the property record cards.
It's always been the same
The
one.
ShopRite has
record
it?
card is
ShopRite has
nothing
it?
more than a construction of data. As long as the data is exported to them, they can then produce
Mhm.
a record card by extracting that data.
Right.
Nothing on that database is confidential because
Identical to what
No, it's not.
it
No,
was.
it's not. We know
But
that.
even
The
though
two, right now, the two separate property cards. One that goes to the public and one that we have. There's not
Right.
one that is universal,
Yeah.
consistent.
Wish for.
What we're trying to do is to have one property card
right.
that the public can get as well as anybody else can get, which will have everything.
The property card that you had internally included images. The property card that people access by logging on was simply a one-page summary sheet.
Yeah.
But it gave you the data you were looking for. You know, I'm just using my house as an example when I look at this, and I've got my tax record from 2008 to 25. I don't think the land values are off. We've had tremendous growth
Mhm.
in value over the last several years.
Yeah.
The building,
This
that's for
this
sure.
is what we run
But
into.
definitely the art items are off. So, and it impacts the whole appraisal. And it isn't a lot of money.
Right.
I mean,
That's the idea.
you know, I have what was 1,800 went up last year to 2,800, this year to 3,800.
The shed?
For 3,800, you can have it.
Right.
No, I know.
I
This
don't
was,
want it.
but Frank, this was exactly, you're illustrating
Yeah,
exactly
right.
our
See,
frustration.
there's some frustration here with
Are
catalysts.
we, the
Right.
things we have been
It's
finding,
bad.
and it's really frustrating in how
And the
we've been
three-year
trying
contract
to
is
deal
ending
with
next
them.
year.
I believe we're all on the same page with this, and in that it's a thing. And I mean, it's
Have
just
you had
another
You're
thing.
seeing, you're seeing now
on
just
these?
your own property compared to what we're seeing.
Three.
That's
Three
it?
people. That's it.
What was the
They
last
re-
full
realize
year? What was the last full reval?
We-
What year?
2022.
Questions.
22?
Yeah.
Please come in and see us because we want to make sure that everything's
Yeah, that
right.
makes sense. My
It's really
total
important.
assessment went up 8.9%. So that makes sense.
Appraisals
Probably
come
line,
in, they don't catch that anyway,
Uh,
right? When they see.
I'm looking at the land value went up 12%, which is right because
Yeah, I'd say that.
we would have been straggling over the
Right.
last few
Yeah.
years on looking at land.
Excellent.
Um,
We found.
The yacht items I might note went down 11%
See?
that year.
Jeez.
Well, it was adjusted to where it should have been. It went from 2,000 to 1,800.
Okay. So you can see that, yeah, that's that's
And what is it now?
3,800.
It should
I
go
feel like
back.
we're all on the same.
So the cost, sheds went from $10 a square foot last fiscal year to $12 a square foot. But I do think
But
maybe the
based on what?
Yeah, that does,
the vendor just does it. You know,
This is what we
bumping,
tell them.
they've
bumping
never
Self from the
done
vendor.
that.
They do.
Never.
Well, they have been.
All from the
the
vendor.
kitchens, the baths.
I checked my cards.
Well,
Not
they
just the
should be
bakeries,
asking
textiles.
you
Which we wanted.
Well, that's been my point all along. Is I get it after the
what
fact.
adjustments you want because you're ultimately going to be accountable for it.
Right.
They're not going to the
Exactly.
ATB, you are.
Right. I know.
Exactly. And this is what we've been driving
Right.
towards. That
I-
is
I-
the
We
issue.
had a problem starting last
So
year.
how did Loki come out this year?
Who?
Stop and Shop.
Oh.
They were always on dependable. Let's file a court
No, no,
They haven't.
no, they
been
haven't.
doing it.
No.
case. Really?
No.
Really? No.
Oh, Carol, we used to spend every
Yep.
couple
I don't
of
know what
years we
happened.
were in tax.
But
court.
I'm actually glad that this is coming out because it just validates some of the stuff that we've been discovering and fighting against, and it's good. I'm glad people are coming to see us.
This is something that we've had for some
It
time,
would be
over a year,
helpful.
that Winnie's been looking into about the valuation vendor, okay, of Catalyst, probably Patriot, and that she's been on their back of getting things done correctly, and if they're not, she's sending them back out, okay? If she's aware of things. If she's not, she doesn't know that. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is
I know we used to go over them, and if there was a problem, they'd come back and straighten it out or whatever.
Well, that's what Wendy's been doing.
All right, guys, we're going to up your gas mileage.
Yeah.
That's it.
I have to.
Right,
We
yeah.
expect it. We expect it. We want people to come and see us so we can get it right because we want it to be right. I mean, and
Oh, yeah.
again, I can't thank you enough for actually
Now, it's great to look
coming in here and talking with us.
Well, I tried to
because-
get on the agenda, but I went to the office. No one knew when the next meeting was.
You didn't have to be on the agenda. That you come in anytime. It's open. I told you that Saturday. I told you that.
I know, but
You didn't have to be on the agenda. You just come in like Frank did. Frank's not on the agenda either.
no, I know.
So let him in.
I told you I
We
was.
left-
See?
I was always the unwelcome public guest.
Not me. I never said that to you. Never.
Never, Frank.
So I'm saying you don't have to be on the agenda to come into a meeting. It's open.
They're open.
But I had asked to be put on it. That was.
There was no need of it.
You could
So I
present
said
that.
no. I said you weren't. You told me. You asked me. I didn't. You're here. Okay. But that's the problem we've been having with this for last year.
Banging our head against.
Okay.
And
And being a watchdog on them. Especially Mark too.
It's interesting. Mark? Harold?
well, I think with the whole buyout and everything,
Mark's the
He's
figure.
probably less interested.
Huh?
He's probably less interested.
well,
His
exactly.
son was taken over.
I used to harass
Mark
him.
is still okay. Catalyst bought out Patriot, but like any type of person giving the company, they'll keep certain people on for a certain period of time.
Sure.
Right? Especially in corporations, they do it very commonly.
Mhm.
And Mark's on for a certain period of time, like under a contract. So is probably his son's there too. After that contract expires, he's going to live probably permanently down in Florida, where he is most of the time. But
Because
we've
he's not
had him down.
interested.
We've had him down here a couple of times, and then we went over his boss because things weren't being done.
It's been
Okay,
a
so
whole-
we've been constantly on this, and it's just get to the point now that something's going to have to eventually be done because it's just not the way it should be, and it's taking too much time of Wendy's that she shouldn't have to do it.
And I can just say from working in another town in the assessor's office, the two programs that we use for our billing and for our real estate was PK and Munis. And I have never in my life seen the things that have occurred with this. I'm like, oh my gosh. I sometimes I have no words. Like these things shouldn't be. Like when we had our vendors, they went out and did commercial. The assessor went out and did the residential. The INEs, the FOLs. They went to the vendor. They took all the information. They entered whatever they did, and then things would be checked. So if you're not checking these things, a lot of things are going to get overlooked and missed. So for me, I didn't know property cards existed, obviously, until I worked in an assessor's office. So I look at them all the time, and I had literally checked them all, and then I stopped because it had always been a conventional. I'm like, all right, everything's good. I'm like, now it's a split entry. So again, like I filed it, the cost factor is obviously different, so my assessment's different, and then my shed as well. Shingles falling off, wood's all rotted, the door's barely hanging on. I'm like, it's probably $25, but
So you're not alone, Carol.
and just
Okay.
the systems, the way they work.
This is coming to light more and more, and that the biggest thing is if we can have people like you come forward,
We want that.
and that's most important
That's
because
the
that
first
way
thing
we
I
know for a
spotted
fact.
on the bill.
Huh?
That's the first thing I spotted.
Good,
Father,
good,
I
good.
said, that's well.
But and because you were in the position and you were on the board, you know more about what to look for. A lot of the average people don't know.
And they
And
don't
I
even
had
know
all,
that
I've got all
property
my
cards exist.
previous cards, so I
Yeah.
double checked everything.
But that's what, and a goal is to basically have that one card, probably card that's going to be inclusive. Number one, and we do plan probably sometime in the close, futures to have a session explaining how to read your property card. A lot of them don't understand, even know what a property card, what consists of and what is what.
Mm.
We hope to have that, at some sort of workshop or something, over the senior center or something, wherever, just explaining that.
Right.
Okay, and that's going to be just an eye-opener. The more informed I think of the residents can be, the better for everyone, for the town, and for them.
And another thing I found was the exemptions not on the third and fourth tax bill. The elderly are looking forward to their exemption on that third bill. After the holidays, they have a hard time, and it's not there.
Yeah, we had
So going on the 4th?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
It's
on the floor.
always
is
going
that?
on. I had no idea.
I was able to get some on the 3rd, but the tax rate was set so late.
the tax rate was
They
delayed, not
went on last year.
okay. The tax rate was delayed, not by the assessor department, by the accounting department.
They had to go back and.
The county department had to go back to give DOR support. And from there, we had the printer having to get the right file sent to them, which is sent incorrectly. That had to be done.
And those
And there's a total delay in the whole thing. So there's a short period of time to get those in. And when he spent as much time as she could, she had a short window to get that. She went from the higher abatements
Exactly.
into as much as she could. So for the senior discount is on the third quarter.
No, it's not.
And it's true, because
No, because I'm-
mine's on it.
That's
So-
a work program, John.
The work,
That's an
yeah, the senior work program, I said. The senior work
I'm
program,
not
it's on it.
talking about
She's
that. I'm
talking about the regular-
exemptions.
It's a regular, okay, the regular one, she missed some.
Yeah, I mean, if the tax rate was set timely,
It was over a week delay in the tax rate set.
more time normally to get these exemptions in that have already
They
been
weren't on
filed.
last year's either.
They weren't.
Because
No.
some of the supporting paperwork wasn't in, remember? We met.
Right, we had meetings because we didn't always have all the paperwork for all of them, and we can't put an exemption through unless we have all the legal paperwork complete. So some of them were delayed because we didn't have everything.
Right.
Because we have to.
Yeah.
On the applications, we have to have all the right
If the tax,
supporting
if
documentation.
all the documents are properly sent to DOR on a timely basis, fully, we'd have that extra week to do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
She didn't have that week.
Everybody was, at that time, I was there 35 years. We all worked together ahead of time. We spent hours putting those liens in, exemptions, everything. And we had to balance and all that.
You have a lot of new people up there in the county department. You have
There's a lot of
a revolving door up there.
Remember
Okay. And we have a new staff down in the assessor's office, okay?
I know.
Okay, so as a result, you're gonna have those delays, you have those
We don't
problems.
Joanne and Andrew.
I remember one year Kathy Caleri wouldn't take my calls.
Oh, really?
Taking classes.
We started with Jerry Perry and I worked my way up.
They have to. It's in their job description. They have to.
Our biggest problem
See,
back
we have problems down there.
then-
We haven't got anybody educated. It's the
Yeah.
thing. It's
So that's why the delays. Hopefully next year will be different. But, she's done all she could for the tax rate.
I know.
And it wasn't her delay, and people think it is.
The seniors getting their exemptions on the third, they always look forward
But
to
it wasn't, if we didn't have the time, she can only do so much. And then when they needed for the printer to get it printed out, then a time span,
Time's up.
she didn't have the week.
Because they have to,
They had a whole week that was delayed.
they have to be entered after, correct? They can't be.
No, they can be.
Right, so
ahead of
the
time.
system that we have, SoftWrite, all the exemptions that have been pre-approved have to be entered after. I've worked in other software, I know you have too, where
Yes.
you have a master exemption file. You can enter them in a rolling basis. And then when everything is set, all those are in. So all you're doing is processing the ones
Well,
that
Can we, like,
wouldn't you just do that by creating a packet, not uploading it to your time?
That's what-
You
That's
can't,
how you-
you can't. Because the way SoftWrite works is if you enter a packet,
No, you create a packet,
if you
you just
create a
don't enter
packet-
it.
no, if you create a packet before the posting of the actual bill
Right.
values, if you go back in, it doesn't refresh. You have to go back in and re-enter those. So I thought of that too. I tried that to see if that would work, and it doesn't. It's a huge. On top of the fact that you have all these exemptions coded, already set for these amounts.
Right.
I always had. I worked with Danny Berman's system and customized
Yep.
data. That's the billing system I used. It was already pre-coded. We already had that lined up, so everything is manually entered. Even the CPA, it was already manually calculated based on the exemption. So Danny had it all worked out, so it was so easy to follow through and get it done really fast. So
SoftWrite's challenging.
It's a software system
I
we have.
agree. SoftWrite is not an easy system. It took me years
And the one that
to
I,
understand how it
This
works.
is what we're bumping
Oh,
against.
yeah, but it's more manually that
And
to human error,
there's a lot of manual.
Yeah,
process.
which is-
there's a
yeah.
lot of manual
We
process.
really need.
which can alleviate it.
Danny Berman can do it. He's capable of.
and the one that I
Doing that.
used when I
Well, that's why the town moved payroll there, because it's such a pain in the neck with SoftWrite.
Well, this is it.
So what,
Oh,
make
is
the
that
whole
right?
move period, want to make the move.
We used to have to change, instead of putting in the appropriate hourly rates on those additional payments, we used to code it as a 1 and put the whole dollar amount in. Because if we tried to do it using annual rates, it
It's
wouldn't work.
insane. This, go
It
ahead.
was
So
very
the system-
labor intensive.
The system is obsolete.
So we used Munis, and we would, start in like October, November. We approved all the exemptions, the veterans exemptions, like first week in October. Everything that was approved, all those that weren't approved, I literally entered in. When it went to the collector for her to go do her thing, our CPA was automatically calculated in.
It should be in the system.
Yeah,
It's,
so
It's not.
they were all
a math. It's a math
It's all,
program.
it's all
That's what we're
manual.
saying.
It's all manual.
Well, unfortunately, Munis wanted 300,000 for us to migrate.
What
So.
about Danny Berman? Has anybody looked into him? He does do it.
Well, you don't get the support services that you'd want for real estate, for assessing. Danny isn't going to send people out to do valuations.
No,
No. He's
just
the
the
billing,
The billing piece.
the billing piece. Yeah.
Just the billing piece would be a huge help.
Has Josh had any ideas of what a new billing service? Does Josh know anyone?
It's a crazy conversion, yeah.
I don't.
Well, the billing, you still have to produce something. You have to produce a table that you can send to him that he can bill from. So you still have to get that information
Well, it's the
out of your
export.
system.
It's just the export file,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He creates a master. For me, and I think with other towns that he works with, a master extract that gets imported once the file is certified and live and everything's good.
I guess I'd have to look at it to
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
get a
It's
better sense. But
right.
That's the problem.
I would think that
You shouldn't
when
have to do
you
anything
create an
manual
export file,
today.
Right.
Right. Nothing should
what
be
you're
on
going
it.
to do is you're going to go in and you're going to request an export, and you're going to define the parameters, and then
Yes.
SoftWrite will create that file and kick it out as a comma separated value file that goes into Danny, and then Danny
Well, that's
imports
what's
it.
happening now, and that's
But you still have to work through the system to get to that export.
But the export is done upstairs to go to Danny.
Actually, it could be done from any computer.
But we don't. It's typically been done by the treasure collector's office.
Now, when he's,
Export to go
Yeah.
to Danny for the bill.
Oh, for the billing. Yeah.
Yes.
so now when he's asked SoftWrite to make some modifications,
I've
and
requested
then they send
all
her a
these
quote,
things, and the
quote was how much?
it's They said this is all development custom, and I said I've never had to work in a billing system where I couldn't do these functions, and they said no, it's custom.
So what did they want to do it?
How much?
It was like 4,000 or something like that. But we already
What?
spent.
Take it out of Josh's
Wait.
budget.
We spent 40,000.
He spent over
40,000 for
40,000.
These are
SoftWrite.
real
We
pain
spent
points.
11,000 for
It's been
catalysts.
Yeah.
Just on maintaining.
And Josh thinks it's not worth it.
It's 4 times what
Now,
Catalyst.
Catalyst, does it maintain the assessing database?
Yes.
Everything's in it?
Yes, except for exemptions aren't in it. We don't. Whitman does not have exemptions in there.
Yeah, that's the way we have it.
Yeah.
So it's a whole big.
Look at it and make an issue out of it.
There's a lot.
I mean, we renew every year. There's no
do you
reason
every
to-
year?
it's a yearly contract.
What
Well,
is?
Catalyst is 3 years.
We're 3 years for Catalyst.
But
Oh, really?
But
Yes.
But the software companies, how many years? What software?
I don't know what it is.
We don't know
Simple.
software.
Is what, 1 year?
We don't do
SoftWrite is annual.
SoftWrite is
It is annual,
okay.
so 40,000.
When did you enter the Catalyst contract?
26?
20.
No, 23. It's 23. 23.
It
So
was
you're
May
out- you're out
23
this
for
year.
fiscal.
Yeah, because I was here when we did
Yeah.
that contract.
Yeah. 23. So
Well, we've got a
basically,
year and a half. I'd like to look at.
it's going to expire in
options,
26.
Because it's a point of frustration and
It is.
Well,
tough.
if you make an issue, I'm sure they're going to let you terminate the contract at annual point, whether it be
When it's
July 1st, 25 or July 1st, 26.
and it's a planning thing, because if we are going to go to someone else, we're talking about a we have to
Conversion and
we
else.
have to map it all out as a conversion and all of that,
I've
but
been
it's
through many of those.
So you guys didn't want
Okay,
to
so-
look into munis?
Frank can help.
Oh, we looked into we looked into it as a standalone, and we looked into it through the regional school district.
Oh, okay.
How long ago?
Well, how long have I been retired?
No, you've been doing.
You never
Four
retired.
years.
You never
I
retired.
know
I-
you're still here.
So the last time we looked at it as a regional option was in 2019, and we had talked about becoming a user on the master system, but then they wanted us to have all of our software residing on the school
Server?
servers. And no, absolutely not.
Good move. It's smart. It's good.
Not going to do it.
no. So I mean,
So that killed that plan.
we should see.
But other companies that can do this
Dan
service,
does it.
okay, that will alleviate the manual input, the human error, to eliminate that by automatically have a program set for, the senior work-off program, how much for FICA, how much for the pension, and everything else versus manually having to be input.
But
And that's
your
what I need.
exemptions, they start filing in July.
Correct.
So you should have the majority of them by the fall.
But we can't import it. If we have the
we
system,
don't always have everything by the fall. No, the
Depends
deadline
on
is
the
April
people.
1st.
July 1st, they can start filing.
Right,
For the next year.
right. And
They
a
can file,
lot
right.
of them do, and we've changed it this year, so we're approving the applications, making sure they're complete on a rolling basis. So when it's time to, when everything is live in the billing software, it's just go time.
So,
But it would be nice to enter those.
but see, if we had a different software system, you could do it as it's completed, not wait until everything is.
so the
Live.
final bill, the fourth quarter, is wrong because they don't have their exemption on it.
No, it's not wrong. It's just that they haven't.
They won't
haven't-
know what to
The
pay.
exemption hasn't been applied yet. They get the certificate, and they get a letter, and it's.
Well, actually,
That's the way it is,
That's
you
a
know.
good point, because
Yeah.
they got their final
They
bill.
got their final bill
And the
right
final
there.
bill doesn't reflect an exemption.
Right.
We're not going to send them another bill.
No.
But when
But they're gonna
the
get a
exemption deadline is
certificate.
April 1st of 2025,
Yeah, they get
it's always going to be. You're never going to. Well, I'll just point out in the other billing system, whenever I would process an exemption after the actual bills were printed and mailed for third and fourth quarter, I could print in the system a revised bill after executing the exemption, highlight it, put it with a certificate, and mail it with a letter so they knew exactly what to pay.
So
You
will they
cannot
have
do
this
that in software.
information by April 1st?
What information are you talking about?
The
The abatement?
The abatement
They get their certificate,
certificate?
and then they have to check.
And maybe
You know,
what you could do, and what I did, is any exemptions that were approved after the third and fourth quarter bill
Right.
went out, when I sent the certificate, I also put on a big neon label. And I said, this is what your bill was, deduct this
Right.
amount and pay that.
That's what I'm
Because the
thinking,
tax
because
collector
there aren't,
knows- Right, it will be
there aren't
reflected.
that many. You could
Yeah.
it may be a
There's
little
fair
manual.
amount. There's a fair
How
amount
many have?
coming
Say
out.
40?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got a lot of them that come
Because
in
once
right
the
now.
bills come out, I used to do an insert in the bill, letting people know that they may be eligible for an exemption, and so a lot of people would follow, and so I would start processing them, on the fourth quarter, because
Right.
that's what you do.
But it would not be a big deal to generate 40 bills and updated notice.
What,
It-
40
we should
real
be
estate
able
bills
to
or
do the
labels?
system
I would
I
do
know.
right away.
a real estate adjustment bill.
Yeah.
It's really not, it can be done on
Can
the
it be done?
system. Because what you use is the abatement report
Exemption.
to generate the
Well,
certificate.
We should be able to do it in SoftWrite. It just doesn't exist.
Software needs to, something has to be done.
Well, SoftWrite
Geogo.
was something we inherited.
I know.
We were on Freedomware, and Sammy Samaria was a federal contractor who provided services to the government, and he bought the Arlington Trust data services, which is what we had as a town in the 80s and early 90s. When Arlington Trust got out of the business, they sold it to Samaria. So we ended up with a fully DOS-based program. And we were still using that in 2004.
Oh my God, DOS.
And then,
Wow.
then, thank you, Lord, Sammy decided he didn't want to do that anymore. And he sold the business to Kevin Adolph and Larry, whatever the hell his name was. And then they came in with a new company called SoftWrite. And that was our first Windows-based program. And actually, your office was still on the old system because Carol wouldn't give up her Windows
All right.
a Windows 3.1
Don't
computer.
call her.
Oh my God.
I tell it. I work for Travelers Insurance, and I do process optimization all the time.
Carol will remember
And
my
we're looking
call.
at all
I
this
said, Carol,
stuff.
the train's in the station, the light's on, and it's ready to roll. You're either on it or off. What are you going to do?
That's it.
This is it, and this is
And
how
then
we're.
the next day, we put that monstrosity computer out in the hallway to be disposed of. And people would come in and they would just stop. And
What is that, right? What is that?
An antique.
but that was our first network. And SoftWrite played a big part in that. As big a pain as it was a huge improvement over what we had now.
Okay.
Which
yeah.
was Carol used to have to keep a lined yellow pad with a list of all the adjustments, and then she'd have to go in with a spreadsheet.
Oh my God.
Are you a billing adjuster or an assessor?
It was,
Oh my God.
it was, when I came here
Even
as,
excise we had to do, figure out ourselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
What?
as
We had to do it
administrator,
ourselves.
when I started, I said, you gotta be kidding me.
It was
I,
awful.
I used Josh. Josh was working for the schools, and I was borrowing him. And eventually, we had to make an agreement to pay the school something for his time. And then I said, "Oh, the hell with this!" I offered him a job.
Okay, that's how. Okay.
That's how he came here.
Well,
Okay.
this is so you know that there's pain points that we're trying to look at and trying to come up with solutions to, better things that will help not just us, but
Right.
the town and
We're trying to have
everyone
things more
else.
automated to the point that it's going to eliminate the human error, no matter what.
Oh, you're never going to do that.
Not eliminate the best we can, much more than we are now.
Reduce the
The less manual entry you have to make, the more dependable the data is going to be.
Exactly.
More,
That's
more
what we're-
accurate. Will be.
exactly.
And that's where
Well
we're going.
said.
We're not going to eliminate the entire thing, but we can eliminate a good portion of it.
Well said.
Well said in all departments, not just this.
And if you get it right the first time, everything flows from
That's it. Exactly right.
We're on the same page. This is it.
Oh.
I'm so happy.
So you can be our spokesperson when we need to get a new.
Here,
Yeah.
come talk
Right.
to us and hear,
That's a
what
problem
we're
with that.
doing, what is going on, and it's
That's a problem with that current valuation vendor, Catalyst, formerly known as Patriot Properties.
They're like Vision. They're getting so big.
Well, that's the trouble with these companies. They start out small. You get all the hand-holding service,
Yeah, exactly.
and then as they get bigger,
This is what happens.
you just become a customer. You're no longer a friend.
It's just a number.
But as far as the exemptions go, I don't know. Maybe we can do a little thing and give them.
We can work that out.
We can go.
Hey,
We can
yeah.
help them
Something to
along
help
with it.
We can work along
Definitely.
before it's due in May.
Yeah, we want to
Okay.
help everyone.
All right, so whatever we can do something so they can get that and put it on the somewhere, so they're not going to worry about
We don't
paying
want
that
them
tab
to
to
be
full amount in May.
confused.
So
Right.
the third one is fine, and it's unfortunate we couldn't put everything in the third one. It's just time didn't permit itself this
It's
year.
crazy.
It really didn't.
Took
And
so
when you
long.
work through a lot of times, that nice to get it done, but she only had that window. If we didn't have the delay and the approval of that tax rate, we probably would have got it done.
Or if you could have done it a different way.
Yeah.
Or if we could have
And
done
I
it
think
yesterday.
that's the huge thing, is if you could have done it before,
Before it
and
would have
everything would have
Right.
just gone when it
Well,
went.
actually, I'm always thrilled when they have the tax rate done by December 1st.
I know.
But that's the problem we had this year.
And you've had a lot of different people in the accounting
Yeah.
office.
We've had people sitting here the night before we took off for Christmas waiting to get the tax rate set.
Oh dear God.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
been that late, but.
We can only control.
This was my stress point.
Oh, this time, that's.
The end of November
Yeah.
till Christmas. It
Mhm.
was
It was
always,
awful.
always battling.
Right.
The
And then when I
enterprise
was-
funds were always wrong. We always had a fight with DOR because
Yeah, I
they
had to
didn't
do that
feel we
too.
reserved enough.
Enterprise funds, yep.
Yeah.
I remember one night calling Jerry Perry and I had to send him a letter committing to set aside $80,000 in free cash in the event we had a revenue shortfall
Mhm.
because it wouldn't approve the tax rate
Right.
until we did that.
Yeah.
As it turned out, we were 200 over.
Wow.
But see, no, we're very happy you both showed up,
Very.
attended.
Yeah.
You don't have any idea. The knowledge you gave us informed us.
And also so you get a better understanding of kind of what's been happening. Why
Yeah,
things are like the way that they are, and everything is trying to make everything just flow.
we're doing the best we can with what we have
Especially
overall to deal with.
Callis has been a real.
And Winnie's been put in an awful lot of time, much more than, no, but that's her job. Your job is the job. She's doing a great job. And she's keeping an eye on Callis. I mean, she's the watchdog for them because it's just, they're so delinquent. Like I said, we had to one time send correspondence to Mark's boss twice.
What was this now? What was that for? The permits?
His delinquency and coming across and doing stuff, the permits, some other stuff.
Yeah.
So twice. We went to his boss, which he didn't like, and I said, hey, you're not doing it. We're going to talk to your boss. So he wrote an email. That second email that the boss got, Mark changed.
They used to come down in July or August.
If you see him once,
Yeah, they used to hang around.
and
doing
he
all
doesn't,
the permits.
but he's down in Florida. He's Florida. He's a place down there.
Things change.
Plus, he's not one for sending emails either. Okay.
I remember setting up a computer in the filing room there so they could enter.
Right.
We just got it so that everybody has their own password when they do go in, so
Right.
that we know
Password
we
protection.
can
anybody knows.
identify immediately
Right.
what.
Who? Yeah.
Who did what?
But that's a staff issue and everything. It isn't, and even his staff he had with Patriot, it's been eliminated.
They don't
Because
even have the
Catalyst
same
he has
people.
their own people. So the whole new environment and whole new way of them doing it compared to what Patriot is doing it.
Right.
And that's what we're dealing with.
Thank you.
I
We'll
appreciate the
take care of
time.
it though. We'll make
Thank
sure
you.
people know. Don't
Thank
worry.
you, Frank. Get coming back,
Thank
will
you,
you?
Frank, so much.
Take it easy.
We appreciate the insight
Thank
and
Thanks for the input.
Yeah, thank
Alrighty. See you.
know our pain points.
Bye.
And we'll get that export to you. So you
Thank
can
you.
Yeah, yeah, well,
Yeah.
analysis.
It's either going to have to be on a disk or on a USB
I was gonna ask
because
you,
it's a large file.
it's gonna be large, and I wanted to ask you if you had, Dropbox.
Yes, I do.
Okay, because I thought that might work.
I'll email it to you.
Okay,
All right.
sounds
Thank
good.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right.
We all.
Nope. Hey, did he want to come back in?
Oh, does he want to come back in?
Want to come back in?
I was going to say,
Come on in.
actually, it may still say Town of Whitman, the Dropbox. That's what I
Dropbox,
created
okay,
it
that's
for.
fine.
They did it
That's
all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't
So, I
you
mean,
do
it's
that?
my
I-
box, but
So, you know what you want?
Town.
Well, I don't know exactly, what I was gonna do is a batch print PDF of
Right.
all the record cards. But if you're looking for something specific, I would have to create a report that's specific.
It would have to be a report because I need the data in order to analyze it.
Okay,
I can't use a PDF.
All right,
It has
okay,
to
all right.
actually be, it would be a data export.
so, so you're not interested in sketches or any of that stuff?
No.
Okay,
Just the
Okay.
data.
okay, all right.
That'll enable me to
Get an idea with
do comparisons.
and see where things are going too, because that's going to be a
I
question.
used to do that every year.
Really?
Okay.
And damn thing. Why is it so difficult?
But you know, people are going to ask that question
What's that?
about how things are going to, you know, how it's going to affect them in the future.
Well, every year, once we put the new values in, I used to export the database into a ASCII file on the server. And then from that, I could run the reports and comparisons. And it was very helpful to us in
With
projecting.
budget time and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I figured.
And it also allowed me to identify properties, not only by classification, but type.
Mhm.
And it's a little more useful tool. I'm surprised that the software didn't provide that ability to us, that we actually had to do it ourselves.
Yeah,
That's the problem with the current software system we have,
you can do it in PK.
and it's
Yeah.
it's getting worse.
But we're looking at,
Because basically, like I said, it's costing us to make the change that we wanted, and she needs it. It's costing like what, $4,000, $5,000.
Right.
You know, to get a median value, what we had to do is we had you had the classification, so you needed the, what was it, 101s?
Yeah, 101 singles, yeah.
Right.
And then you separate that group, drop it into a spreadsheet, look at the last line,
Mm-hmm.
and if the last line was 5220, then you needed to go to 2610 to get
Right,
the
right,
median
yeah.
value.
So I have a custom report now for the median.
Yeah. So, and just that's an example of one of the things that we did.
Yeah.
And it also helped me to project with a little more reliability
that's what I figured. it
what
was
we were
for
looking at the
projection.
next year.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
And, you know, I don't plan on coming back in any capacity other than I'm going to be helping out, hopefully for a few weeks to a month with the Veterans Office, but
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Yeah.
interested in working for the town anymore.
No?
No, friend, why not?
I left and I came back twice.
But could you help?
The second time I couldn't get out of here.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But is there a chance that if in fact we needed your support in getting a new software,
Sure,
We would-
sure.
We'll invite you
and,
again.
and also the potential getting a new valuation vendor?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
I think we appreciate it so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Thank you.
Frank.
Please take it home.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Good night.
All right.
Yahoo!
Yeah. All right.
We got to,
And that's been recording all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's okay.
Recording.
Okay, let's
We have to
let's
approve
get time out
minutes.
here. Let's time out here. I don't want that recorded. I'll talk later. Okay. Okay.
Let's get up.
Let's go back to the thing here. First order of business, getting back to the meeting, which is at starting point of 5:22, is the approval of the meeting of December 17th. Any discussion?
I just want to point out there's an amendment.
Is it highlighted under FY25?
Yeah, it's amendment in the actual commitment amount, which is generated from SoftWrite. So,
Okay.
So it's been amended to the 17 million number.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That's the amended number: 17,940,721.90.
Yep.
Yep.
That's okay. Yeah, we already signed that, so.
Anything else? Make a motion to approve the minutes of December 17th.
Second.
All in favor? So be it. Okay, next on the agenda is old business. Recap FinCom budget meeting.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that we met with the finance committee,
Co-chair.
co-chair, on December 17th. It was a good meeting. They did have some questions about some of our larger expenses, which is the valuation vendor Catalyst. So we had some discussions about that, and I just wanted to mention that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's that.
So,
And so now,
do you want to get the regular stuff done?
yeah,
Let's get the regular stuff
let's
done
do
under
that.
open meeting, and then
Okay.
including the other stuff, payroll and stuff, then we'll address the open statement.
Yeah.
Okay? With you? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Okay. So let's go with the next one, which would be the 2024 motor vehicle excise commitment,
Yep.
number 6.
I just want to reference that. Thank you for coming in and signing that. I just wanted that
Yeah.
to be recognized and on record. So
Sure.
that was already signed.
You want,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Also, recap FY 25 actual billing.
Yeah, I just want to mention that, in trying to work with the collector's office, a new file was sent to the printer. There were some issues and discrepancies, but, ultimately, we had validated the totals in the file days prior to, so there shouldn't have been an issue, but I knew there was some confusion over that, but it was just a new file that the collector sent, and it solved it. So, I just want to mention
Okay,
that.
so that wasn't from us.
That was not
No,
generated
that's all.
from us, it's from
Okay,
them,
that's fine.
from the county department.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. That's all.
Okay,
Clear on that.
now we can go with the payroll warrants, stuff like that.
Payroll warrants.
Anything else?
Yeah, payroll warrants,
Okay,
and then we have
Motor vehicle?
invoice, and we have motor vehicle, yes.
Okay,
So I've got 3 payroll warrants to sign, week ending 12/21/24, 12/28, and 1/4.
okay.
Okay?
I do like this one.
It's nice.
I put a small bottle over there.
Yeah, there we go. Let's set it up. I gotta stop eating junk. We're getting take. We already decided on meeting nights as takeout. We're just not. Meeting nights as takeout. We're just not cooking. I mean, in the summer and the spring, it's fine because we cook outside. But for now, no.
If you want, we can cook outside right now. I'll have a couple of burgers, cheeseburgers.
I think no. We don't have a deck, so we cook outside.
All right, sure.
So I
Next.
have a vendor warrant for the invoices. I have 2 invoices, WB Mason and the water. Total is 127.27.
Okay, good.
And I did get an invoice from Catalyst. I did get an invoice from Catalyst. It's not on this vendor warrant, but I just got it today, so we didn't get it on.
So next.
I don't see your invoice.
No, that'll come too.
Yeah.
That'll come too. Yep. It's coming.
All right,
It's coming.
it better.
Yeah.
Just one side, that's all?
Yep, just one.
Cute.
Let's see. I have a couple of motor vehicle excise abatement packets. 2023 packet 1514. The total is $2,270.13. 2024 packet 1515. The total is $1,075.15.
You want to vote on, do we need to vote on them?
We don't have to.
No, okay.
So I
Are these
think,
all the
I
signatures?
think they're all, those are all the places to sign. And then I have a couple denials.
Are those in Excel?
Nope.
Okay.
2024 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2025 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2026 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2027 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2028 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2029 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2030 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2031 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2032 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2033 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2034 denial, the plates were canceled late in December, there's nothing owed. 2035 denial, the plates were canceled late The other four are 2023. They're all from leasing companies, but they're duplicates. They already filed the abatements and got them. So we're just denying the duplicates. This way.
Away we go. Should I?
I started eating those Oreos.
Temptation. No, I can't. Anything else after that?
Nope, just the rest of it is the exemptions and chapter for exec.
No, we're gonna have to then, we're gonna reconvene and open for the open statement after the
If you
exec.
want to, yeah, we can do that.
How do you want that?
Or do you just want to?
I do the execs and
Oh, I
then
need
the
those.
last thing of the night.
What? I need those.
Oh, jeez. Or do we just?
My dog, the last thing of the night.
Okay, let's do that
How does that
because
sound, okay?
yeah, we might want to talk about it a little bit too. Yep, I agree.
So put that in exec? No, in open.
Yeah, but we'll do it last.
Yeah.
After.
So we'll go into exec and we will reconvene.
Yes.
Yes.
Just have to remember to turn it off and turn it back on.
It's funny, I've never had that thing. I've never
Now
had
you
to
know.
charge it. Now I know.
Well, I'm glad he was here. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably like a lot of things that I do and I find out later on. Get something. Do I read the instructions? No. I put together, right?
There's the instructions right here.
Yes, see. Bet you
It
say.
just says how to use it. It doesn't
Okay, come on,
say-
open it up.
Oh, it does say internal rechargeable battery.
All right, so I have to just
I-
make sure. All this time that never happened.
It never happened.
So now,
And we've had it for 2 years, right? No.
well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, we probably got
Oh,
it
it went
in
that way.
2023. Fall of 2023.
yep. All right,
It
so
lasted
after
that long.
we should probably do roll call and go into.
No, we're gonna basically go with, after finish this, we're gonna go with the, closing up the open.
Yeah.
With the roll call, and then we'll go with the,
Personal exemption.
personnel and FY 26, and we'll go the other ones, and the last thing, we'll close out the exec, and then, reopen the open.
Yep.
Very happy we had company.
Yeah. We never have company in our meetings.
I'm glad we did,
Yeah.
for multitude of reasons.
All right.
We're gonna close the, open meeting session at, 5:32. And a roll call, go into executive session. John,
Heidi.
Christine.
at 5:33.
Okay.
We're now closing the executive session at 7:02. We're going to reopen the open session and indicate that the initial, under new business, the open statement of prior year's discoveries will be addressed at the next meeting, which will be held on January 21st at 4:30. We're now going to close the open session at 7:03.
With roll call.
With roll call,
Heidi.
Christine.
John,